Okay, we are starting off with the outline stitch. Now there are a lot of different outline stitches, but we are starting off with specifically the running stitch and the back stitch. The running stitch is one of the most basic stitches you'll ever see. It's used in standard hand sewing as well as embroidery. It's what you would use to make a sort of dotted line, kind of like what you'd see behind a bumblebee, which, I'll show you in a minute. So to make one, you're just going to follow the lines of your pattern. You can go right on top of the lines, beside the lines. It doesn't really matter so long as you're following them close enough to get the correct shape. And the customary trait of a running stitch is the gap between them. You can make that a really small gap or a really wide gap. Most people make it pretty wide, so it is prominent. But it is used sometimes as a filling stitch to create a little bit of visual contrast, or in a simple outline like this, because when the lines wash away and you just have that kind of checkery pattern of it passing around it. And it's a pretty simple stitch. You just go up and down through the fabric, and you don't have to go back, and you can go as far as you'd like. The difference between this running stitch and the back stitch is that when you do a running stitch, instead of going forward like you did with the running stitch, you'd go here, you go back, hence the word backstitch. And this one's really popular for outlines because it connects and makes that clean line. But the downside of the back stitch is that while it creates this really pretty clean line on the front, it does not look as nice on the other side of the project. So you see the running stitch is pretty much identical, it's just inversed. Whereas this is kind of left a loop. You have to really watch your backside for the loops in case they get caught. But it kind of overlays, and since you're just going to keep going forward, you're just going to keep making that overlay, which, again, for some projects, if you're not going to see the back, it doesn't matter. Like for this project, it doesn't matter too much. You're not going to see the back. But if you have a project that you want to look nice on both sides, I would recommend a running stitch instead.